Welcome, Aquarius, to your June Moon Magic deep dive forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. June has four key lunations, but right at the end of May, we had a powerful full moon in the sign of Sagittarius, and that's providing a backdrop energy for us all collectively through the first 2 weeks of this new month. I'm going to unpack each of those five lunations, but from a purely Aquarius viewpoint. The moon, very much about nurture, protectiveness, security, sensitivity, emotion, where we live, how we live there, and who with, but also our family dynamics, that lunar principle. By the end of the video, you'll have a clear picture of what's upcoming as far as your energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So as we come into the new month, the energy of the Sagittarius blue moon is still very powerful. Sagittarius is very much a truth seeker and speaker, but also, like you, appreciates the degree of personal space and freedom. But in the 11th house of your solar chart, that is an echo of Aquarius energy. It's about your higher purpose, your long-term plan. The energy in the sign of Gemini can be extremely social, flirty, and great fun. But the moon's asking you, are you compromising a little bit by getting scattered in the needs of others when you need to focus more on your perspective? But what makes this particular event highly charged is that Mars, the planet of drive and assertion, is in a very tender but prickly part of your chart. And because Gemini is about quick communication and Sagittarius more about the big picture and our higher purpose, it's possible that if you feel that something is out of kilter, your frustration about that can show up quite strongly at times through the first half of this month. But also, your traditional ruler Saturn in the third house of everyday chats is in a telling right angle with Venus, the planet of relating and money, in the nurturing sign of Cancer. And I have to say, Cancerian energy is going to be extremely strong this month. And for you, that can be about work, the services you provide, the routines you have, what you do around nutrition and diet and exercise, all of those things. But I think it might be quite difficult to be very disciplined about them because there is plenty of opportunity to enjoy yourself. But I just think as you come into the month, you're just being asked to make sure that you're not getting too caught up in social media, just buzzy things that are knocking you off course from what's really important for your long-term plan. That takes us through to the quarter moon, the first of the two, on the 8th in the water sign of Pisces. For you, that's the second house. That's where we think about our values, our self-worth, and our foundations. Quite hard to get foundations working in Pisces because of that very nebulous, watery Neptunian vibe. But for you, that does square off with the sun in the fifth house. Now, the fifth house can be very much to do with generosity and warmth and playfulness and children if we have them. If someone close to you is getting a little bit too used to asking you for some kind of financial support, it's a quarter moon where you perhaps need to say no. But equally, you could find yourself being much more in the mood to splash out on something that proves rather irresistible. It may be some nice new clothes. The fifth house is very much about how we showcase our charisma. It could be your love of food. Moon in Pisces in the second house finds it difficult to resist yummy things. But that quarter moon also sees Venus having moved away from that telling right angle to strict Saturn and edging towards a perfect link with Jupiter, which becomes exact on the 9th. If you are applying for jobs or you're wanting to create greater goodwill, in an existing one, you've got a great opportunity to do that. So even though there is that quarter moon, it's just asking you really to keep a good balance between how you use your resources and how much you have fun. So excess is probably not the best thing. That brings us to the heart of the month with the Gemini new moon. Shares your air triplicity. This could be one of the best new moons of the whole year for you personally. Each new moon, or full moon for that matter, has its own unique identity. This one has Uranus in residency, but also the path of fortune. So, a big array of Gemini energy, which can help to amp up your talent, creativity, and flair. The moon, in a technical sense, doesn't know quite what to do with itself in Gemini because it's a thinking rather than feeling sign. But if you want to be more charismatic and want to amp up your love life, what an opportunity, because look at Venus, it's moved into your seventh house. It's linking back perfectly to Uranus in your fifth house, which can be about being more risk taking. I'm not talking about running across the road without looking. And also, Venus is linking back to Neptune over the following few days in a quite magical way. It does go into opposition with Pluto, so you could encounter someone from the middle of the month that you find very evocative and very hard to resist. But one of the things that makes this new moon so special is there's two semi-sextiles that are applying to it. Jupiter, over the last year, if you haven't felt as well or strong or fit, or you haven't had the opportunities around work that you thought you might, you can get some uplift before he moves on the end of the month into your sector of relating. That link back to the moon and the sun is really good. And Mars links to them really well as too. Now, Mars in that fourth house can be a bit prickly, but Mars in Taurus certainly knows the value of things, can be a bit protective, but it's linked to Mercury is terrific. So if you're doing something that's creative, perhaps a home-based hobby or business that you want to grow, this really gives you a great chance to gain traction in quite a notable way. That brings us to the third event within the month itself. It's the Libra quarter moon, which shares your air triplicity. The ninth house is very much about freedom, just at a time when the sun moves into your sector of responsibility. So there's a bit of a conflict there. It's not a great week to be getting caught up in agreeing to do things you don't really want to do, because with Mercury and Jupiter linking back to Mars in a stunning way, your physical energy and enthusiasm are going to be fantastically strong at this point of the month, but it would easily be the case to then say you will do something and then regret it almost straight away. If we look also at the position of Venus back to Pluto, that's really intriguing. There may be someone that you find very, very attractive. You could even meet them in a very functional, practical situation. You know, the aforementioned tube, supermarket queue, fitness suite, swimming pool, all those kind of places. But also Chiron moved into your sector of emotion, which is the moon, is what the moon's all about. And in the sign, the moon's exalted, Taurus. And that's linking very helpfully to the position of that sun, which also is, of course, ushering in cardinal quadrant 2 with the summer solstice. I know in the south it is the winter solstice. Astrology is a Mediterranean construct, and that is a very nice link if you are wanting to look after yourself in a more proactive way. But that brings us to the final event of the month, which for you occurs in your 12th house, which can be quite challenging. So 12th house full moons can throw up issues that are to do with anxiety, or to do with our fears, or to do with insecurities that we may not necessarily want to look at. This cluster of energy in the sixth house It's very much about practicalities, but Mercury turns retrograde on the day of the lunation, the 29th. Details matter. If you're not really enjoying what you're doing for a living, it can show up with this full moon, particularly if you feel that you've got a lot of expectations riding upon you. But there are things on this event which do reinforce you, not least Venus and Saturn are in a superb link after that early month clash. And it means if you are linking well with someone and it does feel right for both of you, it's a relationship that really could start to gain uh, real legs. It could really hang around. However, if you're footloose and fancy free, as Mars moved on the 28th into Gemini and is going to connect with your modern ruler Uranus through the last few days, an electric connection is possible, particularly with Jupiter moving on the very last day into your sector of relating, where he's going to be for the following 13 months. As the cosmic curtain comes down on this month, if you are wanting to socialize, you're socializing with people perhaps you work with, you're providing services, but you can still use your personality within that connection to your customers or users. I think there's a lot to like. However, we can't deny the fact the moon is in Capricorn in its detriment. So if you try to deny some feelings that you have and just focus on the physical realm, that wouldn't be the right way to go. It's best to try to integrate emotion, psychology, spirituality with the physical realm. And that I feel you can do. So, to summarize in a broad sense, Aquarius, the first two-thirds of this month certainly give you a chance to showcase your imagination and talent. But really, all that Cancerian energy is saying, how do you convert that into something more practical, functional, and lasting, but stay in touch with it feeling good too, the Cancer dimension? I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. Just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscopes. They used to be you buy two, you get 30% off for years. Because of the cost of living increases, my bit towards that, if you buy one, you get three. The one you buy is your life roadmap report, helps us to understand the patterns that have played out in our lives and get a more intimate understanding of them. And the free chart says your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul analysis, which helps us to look at astrology, life, and ourselves in a very different and very profound way. Please see the link below for more. If you've yet to watch your June monthly forecast, that's on the screen. Yet to watch your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be a pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. If you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, fire to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop. Sign up for that below too, please. So to summarize, energy. There's a lot of energy this month based in the sixth house, not least Mercury. Mercury moves there on the first of the month. The sixth house can be our bodies, but Mercury can be our nervous system. Of course, it goes into its pre-retrograde shadow on the 13th, followed by the retrograde on the 29th. But I think you are being asked to improve your energy, to be very disciplined about what you eat and drink, because with Venus and Jupiter coming together, uh, it would be very easy to be indulgent. So this applies to me too. When it comes to your professional situation, I think coming into the new month, you really needing to feel that whatever you're doing fits your higher purpose. If you're not really feeling it fits your higher purpose, a change may be what you need to do. We can all be a little bit reluctant to make changes because familiarity is comforting. But with Uranus in the mix, your modern ruler, you get a great chance to really do something quite dramatic about it, but particularly in the last few days. When it comes to your relationship situation, Venus followed by Jupiter is really delicious. But you know, it's the links Venus makes that's really very exciting. So from the 13th onwards for that following week, boom, 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 Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, some very profound potential for connection is there for you. So that's truly exciting. And then as far as money is concerned, well, in the second house, the role of the North Node is intriguing because Uranus, your modern ruler, is going to be agitating with that and the South Node, long-term finances, all month in a T-square. So I wouldn't be too quick to do things that are too speculative. But whether you can resist by the very end of the month when Mars moves into that fifth house is another matter. It's been a pleasure being with you, Aquarius. Have a great June, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.